Hey, it's Dan McDonald here, Life Regenerator on YouTube. Today we're going to discuss how to survive the second wave of COVID-19. The first wave didn't go as well as they had hoped. It didn't kill as many people as they wanted to. I know there's still probably about half of the population that believes that this is some kind of natural event. Obviously, for those of us who have been paying attention for the last couple decades, we sort of saw this coming, and we're not surprised by any of this at all. The eugenists, population control, Agenda 21, Agenda 2030. In other words, the conspiracy theorists, which we all know by now, or most of us anyways, that is a term created by the CIA so that people would stop searching for the truth about the JFK murder. Assassination, because again, even back then, JFK was like, these scumbags have a plan to destroy not only America, but take over the globe and spread their agenda, which is less than love, peace, joy, happiness, and prosperity for all human beings, to say the least. And so, we've been told and told and told again, as we were told before in 2015 by Mr. Gates, and then in 2017 by Mr. Fauci, that there will be a pandemic during this administration. So they've got their crystal ball and they can read the future, right? Or they're orchestrating it, which by now we know the whole thing is one big mass orchestration. We knew that from the very beginning. We knew that with the falling of the towers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We know that fear is the currency of control. I think I stole that from David Icke, but there isn't much of a better way to say it. So how are you going to survive the second wave of COVID-19? Many people, there was three groups. There was the group that actually thrived from COVID-19 for several different reasons. One of them was that their businesses were online. Another one was that they were in some type of helping type of industry where people were just freaked out, afraid, and all of a sudden, like, the football was gone, the sports events, the drinking, the partying, the nightclubs, and so all of a sudden everyone was afraid and was sitting in their house. So there was a lot of people reaching out for consults, looking for answers. Oh my God, I better get healthy and quit drinking so much and eating such crappy foods, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a select group of people that thrived, one of those being the corporations that were allowed to be called essential businesses while the mom and pops went out. But it's not really about the economics at this time, because that's looking better. We heard Dr. Ben Carlson this morning talking about how we're going to get the economy open back up, survive. So there was the thrivers, there was the kind of the people that have been like just confused, and then there's the people that are like, stay home, wear your mask, do whatever they say, and that was the vast majority of people. And you could tell by looking at Bill Gates' videos now that about half the people are woke up. It used to be somewhere between 90 and 95% of the people were awoke to the agenda that's been going on for decades, really. And we were called all kinds of names and stuff like that. Now a lot of people are like, wow, this is actually really happening and has been the whole time. And the pharmaceutical, tyranny that's been taking place in our country is finally starting to be revealed, that nothing that they really do works. And one of the reasons why this pandemic didn't go as well as they had hoped was that they didn't they should have figured this into the mathematical equation, but when you scare everyone into staying home, then they don't go to the doctor and they don't go to the hospital, and then you have a lot less iatrogenic disease, which is the third leading cause of death, meaning, so they say iatrogenic disease, so you don't know what that is, but that just means that medically induced death induced by medical care. So you've got heart disease, you've got cancer, then you've got iatrogenic disease. And if the pharmaceutical companies trained the medical doctors in what health is, and they knew about fasting, detox, and tissue regeneration, then the numbers of heart attack would go down, the numbers of cancer would go down, but they've suppressed anything that's worked for cancer, and you know that because we've all seen the documentaries, Truth About Cancer and everything else. So with the cancer, the heart disease, the iatrogenic disease, so everybody's scared and went home and they're not going to their doctor's appointments, so less people actually died. So that was less people that could be marked as COVID-19, because you'll notice that they always said died after being diagnosed with COVID-19. But then again, in Africa, they tested a papaya and they tested a goat, and the papaya and the goat both tested positive for COVID-19. So you need to look into the tests and understand why there's so many false positives. You know what I mean? And we've been swimming in a sea of coronaviruses for decades anyways. I think the last time I heard there was 26 coronaviruses, and most of them have those in us. And so we saw that it was mostly just sick and unhealthy people. Now, everyone will write to me on Facebook and say, screw you, Dan. My so-and-so healthy brother-in-law was only 47 and he was super healthy. But then you see the picture of the brother-in-law and he has 40 pounds of fecal matter in his gut. Now, there's also some other factors. One of those is the rolling out of the 5G, the other, which is in the Wuhan, which was in Italy, which was in Israel, which was in New York. And we've also, those areas are also notoriously known for, number one, their senior citizen population, which is not healthy, and their notoriously bad air. So what you have here is an attack on human health. And what you have is this recipe designed by the globalists to increase sickness and death within the human population. Now, this is too hard for some people to get, but that's okay, because I'm arming you with the truth so that you know that this has been going on for a long time. Because wouldn't they go to Africa, let's say, if these philanthropists really cared about children? Wouldn't there be fresh water? Wouldn't we be growing wholesome food and nutrient-dense soil? Wouldn't we take and allocate all these resources to grow awesome food, to have pure water for everyone, to till the soil and hire as many people as needs to grow nutrient-dense foods? Wouldn't we purify the air? Wouldn't we enhance the technologies to eliminate all of the heavy metals and all the toxins that are coming out of the smokestack? So for them to try to convince me that they really care about our health and that we should stay home and protect the vulnerable, you know, they're the ones that have been making the vulnerable sick, because in our society we've been promoting vaccines and pills and surgeries, but not fresh air, not pure water, not relaxation, and not a higher level of consciousness and understanding about what health is. So you can see through the whole, it's just one big lie. And it's not necessarily the government. Generally, the globalists, who are a very small group of people that have a lot of money, old banker families, for, you know, to oversimplify it, but just old big money and control and buying people out. And so these little puppets, they're like, of course I'll do whatever you want me to do as the governor of such and such state. I'm not going to say any names, because some people think they're heroes. I think that I can see right through that they're criminal scumbags. And they think that they're going to side with the bad guys, but that's a bad idea, because a lot of people, if we wake up, a lot of people are going to hang for crimes against humanity, Hitler style. But we really want to wake up now so that we can get at the core of these issues, so that we can eliminate this cabal at the root of it and awaken. Now, we can be confused if we want. I'm not confused. I know a lot of people that are pretty awake to it, but then there's a lot of people that are still believing that Mr. Gates is trying to heal malaria with his vaccines in all these other countries. But if he really wanted to do that, he would strengthen the immune system, which is the one thing we've never heard anyone during this whole time, at least that's part of the cabal, talk about boosting immunity, enhancing health. And that's what I've been talking about all the time, because if you do that, you won't get heart disease, you won't get cancer, you won't have to go to the hospital and die of iatrogenic disease, and you won't be depressed, so you won't commit suicide. Nothing you can do about the car accidents necessarily. Just because it took me 10 minutes to get to the starting point. This happened yesterday, and I was like, I'm going to condense it. Well, it doesn't work that well, because I love context. Can you dig it? So we've gotten rid of all the people that think I'm a tinfoil hat conspiracy nut, meaning the new term for conspiracy theorist is truth seeker. Can you dig it? And we just changed that right now. And from now on, whenever we're referred to as, whenever we hear the term conspiracy theorist, we know that that means that you're onto us and you're a truth seeker. Because you want to know what happened, who killed JFK and why. Because he said we're going to get rid of these scumbags and we're going to make humanity better so that humanity can blossom spiritually. We're going to get all these psychopaths out of the way and out of control. To survive the next wave is to return to nature as much as humanly possible. It's the technology that has allowed them also for us to communicate, but to also control people's minds, mostly through CNN and the news media, which is all a bunch of hogwash to me. So how did we get into this mess in the first place? We had a lockdown, and when you have a lockdown, you have several issues. Number one, you have stress. Number two, you have bad food. Number three, you have the masks. And number four, you have the isolation, which are all bad, and being away from the sun and the fresh air. So the stress, the bad food, the masks, and the isolation all diminish your immune function. So everything that we're doing, according to the experts, which aren't experts to me, they're all a bunch of dum-dums who are totally clueless. I don't care about doctors. I don't care about the narrative. None of them work for me. They never talk about fresh air. They know nothing about fasting, nothing about detoxification, nothing about pure food, nothing about sunlight, nothing about breathing exercises, fresh air, human touch. Can you dig it? Real stuff that actually works at the level of the microscopic consciousness of the universe so that you can become a radiantly healthy human being, which you can do if you cultivate an understanding and a connection with the divine power. Scientists in a white lab coat are going to try to hijack nature and outsmart God? I don't think so. I side with God and Mother Nature and their natural organic biochemistry. I am that, and so I'm going to get with the grass, get with the trees, get with the rain, get with the sun, get with the rivers, get with the ocean, get with the sand, barefoot, sunlight, breathing, working with the land. Can you dig it? Out in nature, in some way or another, we need to return to nature. The stress is from the fear, the fear porn. Forget about it. I never felt one drop of fear this whole entire time. And I'm grateful and I'm celebrating that. I just don't fall for their fear porn hysteria because that's the way they control everyone's minds. People get afraid and they're like, I don't care, I'll take any vaccine. I don't care if it's been tested. I don't care if it's a new technology. I don't care if all vaccines are totally unsafe and totally ineffective. And I have always, just shoot me up with anything. Please save me from the boogeyman. People sitting inside eating bad food, okay? You know I've been talking about this for years. Fresh, raw, living food is the best food for human beings to be light, energy, clear, immunity, clear colon, high oxygen, the best. Fresh, raw, living foods. Fruits, vegetables, herbs, nuts, seeds, and seaweeds. Do whatever you want, but I'm just saying, I've gone down this road and I know. Fresh fruits, vegetables, herbs, nuts, seeds, and seaweeds grown in nutrient-dense soil, taken in moderation and simplicity with not a lot of combinations and over-preparation is the best food for human beings. Mono foods will clean you out. Simple, plain, basic, natural food grown in nutrient-dense soil is the way that you're going to do well. The masks, boom. You are now struggling to get oxygen, which is the number one nutrient that you need to live a good life, is oxygen. So now you have this mask and all this theoretical bullcrap, but none of it's true because now you can't breathe. You're losing oxygen by like 50%. So now your oxygen utilization is cut in half. But not only that, now you're breathing in all of your carbon dioxide. It's almost like wear a mask, you fucking idiots, and we're going to kill you. And everyone just goes for it. I wear that mask as minimal as possible just because everyone's freaking out and I can't go get vegetable snacks when I go to get some stuff at the store because everyone's freaking out and they all fall for it. But whatever, you know, they're just like, do what the governor says. Well, the governors need to wake up and realize that they've all been hijacked and this whole thing is a big sham scam by a bunch of scumbags who are psychopaths. And this has been a plan for a very long time. There are hundreds of millions of different viruses. You have hundreds of trillions of viruses in you and several coronaviruses already in your virome right now. We weren't staying at home, locking ourselves in our closet, having panic attacks from the fear of some boogeyman virus, you know. Viruses are an important part of our evolution and adaptation to local stimuli. So don't cut yourself off from that, because now what you're going to see on this second wave, from the bad food, from the stress, from the mask, and from the social isolation, locking yourself in your house and weakening your immune system, because now you're not being robust with your environment, keeping your immune system strong. You know, I know a lot of old and unwell people died, and there's several factors to that, and I get it. We got to be sensitive, but we can't be stupid. We can't starve the young and the middle class, starve them to death, destroy them, make them, what are we going to have, homelessness across the country? They don't stop the country for heart disease, but they stopped it for this one because it's part of a very well-planned agenda that they've been working on for quite some time. A pandemic is the perfect tool for them to move their agenda forward. Don't fall for it. Let's wake up, America. Let's wake up, world. But America is the focal point, because we are the ones that are like, I got an AK, bitch. I'm not taking no vaccine. And they're trying to, like, you know what I'm saying, make you dumb and take away your power. And it is our job against foreign and domestic terrorists. And now these are globalists just trying to take over America, destroy the economy, make us all sick and enslaved, and destroy the population, because they're just sick and they're empty. And I'm praying for these sick, sad souls to be awakened. I have God. I'm ready to go at any given time. I'm going to fight till the death, and nobody's injecting me with anything. Can you dig it? Protect ourselves from sickness. We have done all the things that we need to do to keep ourselves well. We've gone against that. You see how it actually makes sense once you think about it from the standpoint of someone who's only studied health for 20 years. I don't give a crap about doctors, scientists. The scientist is an industry. I want real science. And I've transcended science myself, and I recommend you do the same by looking out at the tree, because science cannot produce a blade of grass. God can, nature can, but science cannot. Science is not even close to emulating nature, but nature loves you. Nature will heal you. You are nature. This is your organo-vegetative system. Connect it to the earth and thrive beyond your wildest imagination. Feel good again. Get healthy. Get rid of all those damn diseases that were caused by the vaccines, the pharmaceutical drugs, the antibiotics, and the pharmaceutical takeover of the medical system since 1902. Rockefeller, who wanted to make money selling petroleum-based pharmaceutical drugs with patents, and eliminated herbology. I love herbs, superfoods, fresh air, sunlight, yoga, stretching, getting healthy. And I pray to God that whoever is watching this video feels the surge of power in your heart, feels the power in your gut to be healthy. You are radiantly healthy. That's all I see for you. That's all I want for you. Radiant health. I don't want anything else from you. Can you dig it? Just be healthy, be happy. You are me. We are one in unity consciousness, and I need you to be healthy. I need you to know that you have the radiant light of God within you, the power of nature, the divine consciousness. All you got to do is get out of the way. So don't fall prey to any of the lies and any of the propaganda and falling into the narrative, which is politically correct, which is just stupid. The heart is the most radiant thing, because the love emanates. So stay in love, because fear is this contracted space. Oh my God, stay away from me, 6 feet away, oh my God. And then the love is just huge, and it's just like, and you can just send waves of love to someone standing up on top of that mountain over there. Yeah, and they'll feel it. They're like, what was that? The kitty can feel it. Right, kitty? See my little buddy? Pro-vaccine versus anti-vaccine. Where's the debate? Well, they don't show up. The pro-vaxxers never show up because it never goes good for them, because they have nothing to stand on. You can't inject poisons into someone and make them healthy. And we've seen death destruction, disease, and sickness through the needle for far too long. The end of the vaccine era is now. Okay? So they're going to have a volunteer at first because too many of us have wised up to the fact that vaccines are unsafe and ineffective and cause detrimental damage to the brain, the nerves, the glands, the tissues, and leave behind massive amounts of deposits, bring in different types of RNA that degrade your epigenetic expression of your DNA. So it begins a process of degeneration in your DNA. The heavy metals are very damaging. All the other 180 other chemicals in a bath in a solution of the polysorbate 80 and 20 to cross over the safety barriers. We know now that that is ludicrous, idiotic, never worked. 99% of polio was gone before the introduction of the vaccine, and now 75% of polio cases are caused by the vaccine themselves. So these are just the facts, just a few small facts. All pro-vaccinators lose the debate. You cannot inject poisons and make people healthy. Everyone that's getting paid by the vaccines will try to champion. They're going off all this false data. It's over. They're done with. The vaccine cabal is falling. They have failed. They have damaged so many children, 18-year-old kids crapping in their pants. It doesn't work. It'll never work. So forget about all that. The vaccine era is over. But people are still going to line up right now to take Billy Gates's vaccines, and so they're going to be some volunteers, right? They're going to volunteer, and they're going to love it, but the problem is you're going to be injected with toxic synthetic poisons, which is the new technology, and you're going to see a wave of death. And then they're going to try to use that wave of death from the people who were silly enough to go in and get vaccinated for COVID-19, which is number one. The only people that get the flu are the ones that take the flu shot. And the flu shot, the SARS shot, all those vaccines set you up to be weakened and damaged so that the COVID can actually take you down. But if you don't take any vaccines, you're totally impervious. And if you have radiant health, from eating properly and exercise and sleep and proper thinking and happiness and joy and love and power, from doing the yoga to strengthen and strengthen and strengthen yourself, you're not going to be, this thing can't even touch you from a million miles. You could eat a bowl of coronavirus for breakfast and be like, peace, I'm going for a run. Can you dig it? So let's stick together and rise up. Love is the answer. I hope that you're well. I pray for your family, your friends, your community. I'm praying for America. I'm praying for the world, that we would all be blessed and swimming in a sea of unity consciousness and blast out all negative radiation so that only the love radiation of the sun and the light and the love and the peace and the joy of life. Even at these trying times, the joy of life is available to us. This is exciting. We get to fight for what's right, for what's true. We have the chance. The door is open. Let's walk through it and rise up, humanity. We are the ones we have been waiting for. Go forth, soldier. Kick some fucking ass out there. You're a badass, and I salute you.